Hello everyone, minasan konnichiwa. I am Martin and this is WabiMoji. If you want to know more about me, my life in Japan and some of my projects, you can check this video here. This is the second video in a series of tutorials explaining how to write nice and tidy Hiragana, the Japanese, one of the Japanese alphabets. And in this video, I will focus on the second line of the Hiragana alphabet, which are actually the letters Ka, Ki, Ku, Ke, and Ko. The same as in the last video, there will be three parts. The first one is for explanation, so you will learn the main rules of how to write nicely all these letters. Then there will be a part of common mistakes, and finally a few minutes of practice. Remember that writing is something that will enhance your overall learning of Japanese. So many people might tell you that, well, writing in Japanese is difficult. Well, it might be, but it's also joyful. So maybe, especially at the beginning, you need to change your mindset. So create a space of relaxation. Take 30 minutes in the evening or in the morning when you want to feel relaxed, have a coffee or a tea and just try to practice, enjoy the writing process. So that being said, let's get into it.
So let's have a look at the first letter, Ka. Now I'll explain each part, each point of this letter. First of all, we start here on the left side, right, in this square, and it's a rather low position here somewhere, and we go up the way, and then before reaching this middle line we start to go down, and here we can touch it, right, a little bit, or even enter, but just a little bit in in the right side. Then we go down and up again, and the next line starts here on the left side, right, and we go down like this, right? And finally we have here a rather long line, so it's not just a kind of a comma or something, it's a bit long, and I explain you why immediately. So let's see, we start here close to this middle line and we go slightly up, as you can see, and before reaching this middle line we start to go down with a curved line like this, and in the end we do this curved, this hook here. The idea is, again, this comes from the brush writing. When you write calligraphy with a brush, you have to think that this line goes up here, right, and they're connected basically, so it is the same movement, a big movement. And this is a straight line but an oblique one, and do not make it too long. Stop here before, okay, it's a lot of space here that we need before this point. And the last line, you can think you're, let's say this is the middle of this square, maybe somewhere here on the left side and a bit down, and it's important this one to be slightly curved. At the end you can go out, right, you know, like this from the paper with this kind of hook, let's say. But even if you don't have it, it's not a big problem. Okay, so I will write it once again. Okay, we start here, up and down, and here somewhere, and down, and at the end this kind of line. And let's check the positioning. More important maybe than anything in this letter is the balance. As you can see, this part, the main part of it, it's on the left side. So on the right side we only have this line here. So stay on this side, okay? And you need a little bit of space here. Okay, this is pretty much the same with this space here, let's say. And again, right, make sure you don't get too much into the right side. Maybe you just touch a little bit this this line. Here you need to create a space. Personally, I kind of have the tendency to make this part very slim. You might see it a bit large, right? But anyway, you need to create some space here inside. You need a little bit of space here, and here at the bottom even more space. Okay, so this one should be slightly longer than this one. Okay, and stay inside with this line, right? So you start here, go with an oblique line, do not get over here, right? So make sure you end up this line before reaching this wall here. And as you can see, there's another distance here. Okay, so do not make it too long. And then you need a nice space here as well, right? And I think this is pretty much all. You make sure that you start this line. As you can see, it's something like this. Okay, so start here slightly on a upper position compared to this one, and here you can end on this middle line or just a little bit down the way. All right. Now let's check the common mistakes. So what I see very often is something like this. I will try to imitate. Right, something like this. So let's check the first problem. The first problem is related to this line. Okay, this line. Make sure again it's inside this like rectangle, right? Make sure it's on the left side of your of the place you're writing on, right? So necessarily stay inside here, okay, right? And as you can see, it's curved here and we have a hook. Okay, so make sure you move it inside. This is one point. Another point is related to the next line. As you can see, this one has just a little bit of space here and too much space here. It's wrong. It's actually the opposite. So you should have the same amount of space. So, or even the upper part should be longer, a bit longer than the lower part of it. So let's say we have this nice line here, right? And we start here, so this position is correct, but make sure it goes more like this. And as you can see, this part is pretty much of the same length as this one, or even this one might be longer than this one, maybe with 1 millimeter or so. Okay, and the last problem is this thing here, right? This is too short, is not it like in the case of letter O, it's longer than that one. So let's say we wrote this correctly, like this and like this, and here is not just a comma, it starts here somewhere on this position, and you need to write a long line, curved line like this. Okay, and why is this? This is because the letter K comes from a Chinese letter. It comes from a kanji. I mean, all hiragana were developed from kanjis, and this one comes from the letter with the same name, let's say ka, and which had here actually a kind of a rectangle, which is a kuchi, a mouth, right? So it was something like this, right? So that's why this one actually reproduces this rectangle. It's a way to abbreviate it, let's say. So that's why we need to have a longer line, not just a comma like this. Now that we've checked the rules, let's practice together for a few moments. Let's now have a look at the next letter, key. I will write it first and then we will check together each point. So this is key. The first line starts here in the middle of this square, let's say, or maybe just a little bit down. So let's say here we start and we go up like this with a rather straight line, and then you might well have this kind of thing because you imagine that you start the next line here. As you can see, this line is close to the middle line, and again with maybe a little bit curved line like this, and then again you have here this kind of thing because you imagine you want to reach this point, and you enter like this and touch, as you can see, this center, okay, the center of this line, and continue to go down, which means you will cross the second line somewhere on the right side, so not in the center of it, and you continue until you go over the middle, this horizontal middle line, and then you necessarily need to have this kind of thing. This is because, well, again, you have to imagine this one is united with this letter, with this line here, and this is a curved line which stops here. Okay, so do not reach the same level with this one. Okay, so let's check. A rather straight line, but up the way here, and you imagine you have to reach this point, so you might have this kind of thing. Even if you don't have it, it's not a problem. And start here just a little bit above the middle line, right? Okay, this one is slightly curved, and again here you go up like this, which means you want to connect this one with this part. If you don't have it, again, it's not a problem. Here you might see some kind of point. This is because I enter like this. This is also from the brush writing, so I enter like this with the brush and go down. Even if you don't have it, it's not a problem. Okay, more than this, you have to pay attention to the next line, which is, well, let's say it's straight. I kind of used to write it straight. It might be a bit curved inside like this, which means, well, you will cross this line here, but this one not here, but rather on the right side of it. Okay, and you will stop here somewhere. Okay, so this stops here, the next one stops pretty much on the same level, let's say, but the next one even farther to the right side. And here this one, it's a bit curved, and you imagine you come here, right? And then this continues this circle. Well, it's not a real circle, it's just a like an oval like this. Okay, this one is curved, and you stop here. Again, do not go too far with it. As you can see, this one doesn't reach this wall here, let's say. Okay, so these are the lines. Let's check a bit more the balance, the spaces you need to pay attention to. So I will write it once again. Okay, straight down, a bit curved, stop here, don't make it too long. Then here, maybe a little slightly curved like this, and like this, and one nice curved line at the end. Okay, so make sure this is in the center, right, of this square. You have pretty much the same space here between. Okay, so this one is of the same length with this one and with this one. Okay, this is maybe the easiest way to imagine it. And right, make sure you leave a little bit of space here, right? Make sure this is in the center. Okay, so you basically have the same amount of space here and here. Well, pretty much the same. I think it's not bad to consider it like this. And make sure here you have a nice space. Okay, do not make it too small. Make sure you have a decent nice space here, and don't forget to leave some space here as well. Okay, yeah, I think this is pretty much all you need to know regarding the rules. Let's now see a few common mistakes. So what I see very often is something like this. Well, I will try to reproduce, but I'm not that good at it. So let's say something like this. Okay, so there are a few problems, and the first of them is regarding the first two lines. Well, it's very difficult to understand the proper length and balance, but anyway, most of I mean, what is most important is that, well, the first line is slightly longer than the second one, so not like this, right? So this is shorter, this is longer. Okay, so you have to make this one longer like this, and the next one starts not here but here somewhere, and it might be on the same level with this one, but because you start here it becomes shorter than the previous one. And this, well, it's also not enough space between them. Well, I feel it's too tight here. Okay, so it should be like, maybe you should start with this one here and go down, and then something like this, right? And another thing is related to this ending here. So let's say you wrote this one correctly, and then this one, and then you started here. Again, this one should cross the center, then go like this. And well, in this case, this kind of thing is not something that you should omit. It's something that you kind of have to do, otherwise it will look like the katakana letter ki, and we're writing hiragana, so make sure you have this thing here, right? Without it, well, is not that well. Of course, people will understand what you write, but it's not that nice. Okay, and then of course you have to continue with something like this. And this is actually the third common mistake. It's related to this. Okay, this line. There are many mistakes you can do related to this line. Well, here, as you can see, it's too far on the left side, so basically it goes here on the left side. Well, this is not correct, it should stay inside. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then of course this one is connected, and you have to start here somewhere. Okay, so this is pretty much the same level with this point. Okay, and from this position you go with a curved line like this. Okay, and so as you can see, you need to create this circle here. It is not very round. Okay, so it's not like this, right? But still you should have this kind of space, nice space here, like this one. Okay, and the last problem, please stay inside of this point, right? So if possible, well, even I wrote it a bit too long, I feel, here in this case. So you start here and you should maybe end here somewhere. Okay, this is enough. Do not go, maybe even if you reach this point, it's fine, but if you go over like this, is not okay, right? Now please relax, enjoy the time of practice, and let's see. Okay, let's see how we write the next letter, Q. I will write it first once and then I will explain all the rules. Okay, so this is Q. Let's see, we will start here on this side, so we have to make sure we have a little bit of space. Yeah, this is one long line, they're not two different strokes, so it's just one line. So we start here, enter the paper like this, and then we go down, and here we need to make a curve and then go down like this. Okay, so we enter here. This is not compulsory, so it comes from the brush writing, so if you even if you don't do it, it's not a problem. More important than that is to go down with a nice angle like this. It is maybe a little bit curved, but if it's straight, it's perfectly okay. More than that, it's important to have a curve here at the end. So don't make a sharp angle here. Try to make a kind of a curve, right? Make it a bit round here at the end, and then go slightly, go down like this, and stop only after you reach the same level with this one, and maybe you can go a bit farther than that, right? So do not stop here somewhere, make sure you crossed this wall here, okay? And we stop. So let's see once again. We start here on the right side, go into the left half of this square, and then we make another line. It's the same line, but it goes down again into the right side, and it stops here like this. Okay, so once again, now we have to make sure that we have here a little bit of space, right? And there is also enough space here, okay? And we need to have a little bit of space here as well, okay? What is important here in the case of QA, well, of course, is the balance, and it's okay if you consider that, well, this line is the middle vertical line, so you have to have a good balance towards this vertical line, which means what we have here on this side, right, should be equal with what we have here on this side. So this is how we have to think, and maybe more difficult is this part, right? So if you think that, well, let's say this is the center here, okay, you can stay on this side, and basically you have to start here on the left side and end up after you cross this wall here on the right side, right? Maybe this is a bit too long, you can stop here as well. Make sure you're not touching this center, and make sure in the case of letter Q that you have enough space on these sides, right? So this is here, it's a big space that you have to create. So as you can see, the letter itself is rather slim, so it doesn't cover all the square, so you need a lot of space here and also a lot of space here on the right side like this. Okay. Now that we've checked the basic rules, let's see a few common mistakes. Something that I see very often is related to positioning and size. So maybe something like this you would see very often. You have to remember that this is a long line and it starts here on the right side, right? And it goes on the left and then it comes back on the right side, right? So it's long, okay? So the size, it's important. And the position, as I explained here, okay, you have to have the same amount of space, right, here on this side and here on this side, so do not go too much here. Another common mistake is related to the length of the second part. So you will see many people writing something like this. We start here, we go here, and of course this one will be slightly longer than this one, but we have to stop here somewhere, right? And we have to start here so this one doesn't look too long, right? Okay, so make sure this one is not that long compared to this one. And another common thing is to have a very sharp angle like this. Again, it's not necessarily wrong if you have something sharp here at the end, even though I prefer to have a curve. But more than that, it's about this angle, right? Make sure it's big enough, right? So this is too sharp. So it starts here somewhere, goes like this. So as you can see, this angle is big, and here it's nice if you have a kind of a curve and then go down like this. Okay, so make sure this angle is big enough. Now let's write together a couple of times. Now let's move to the next letter, K. I will write it first. Okay, so this is K. We will start here, of course, in this left half of the square, but we have to make sure this line is a bit curved and it stops here and we go up with a kind of hook, and then the next line it starts here on a rather low position, right? And we have to make sure it's long enough, and then here up, and again a curved line like this. Okay, so okay, make sure you start here somewhere and you go down like this with a curved line and end up with this kind of hook. And of course this one is connected with this spot here, and the next line is slightly oblique, right? So it goes up but just a little bit, right? And well, it has to be long enough, right? You don't have to touch this side, but I mean you need to leave here a little bit of space, but it should be long enough. And then we imagine that we have to go here like this, right? So it's okay even if you make this kind of uh, a line here, it's fine because this one is connected with this one. And then here you enter the paper like this. Even if you don't do this kind of point here, it's fine, but it looks better if you do it. And then you make this curved line. It's more curved, let's say, at the end, and it goes down to a lower position compared to this one. Okay, so let's see once again. We start here, right, and go down and up, right, like this, and then something like this, right? And what is important here is to make sure that you have the same amount of space between these lines, right? So actually what happens is that this vertical line and this vertical line, they both crosses the center, okay, the center of each half of the square. And this is, if you think like this, is very easy to understand how to properly uh, adjust and balance the letter. And if you do this, you will manage to create here also a nice space, right? Okay. And of course, don't forget to leave a little bit of space here, okay? And we need a little bit of space here as well, and maybe a bit more here, okay? But because this is the like the center, right? So if we draw a vertical line here, this will start on the right side of it. It touches it and then it goes on the right side as well. And here it happens the same thing. So if we remember, if we think that we have here a vertical line, this one will start on the left side, touches the line, and then ends up again on the left side. And as you can see, this line is shorter than this one, right? So this one starts here at the upper level and ends up here at a lower level. Okay, so it's something like this. Now let's have a look at a few common mistakes. The first one, you will probably see something like this very often, right? And well, here these two vertical lines look like a kind of parentheses, but they're not, right? So you should start here on this side. You make a curved line, but you end up with a hook. And the next one is not of the same shape with this one, right? So it starts a bit up, and then you have to make a curve like this and then end up like this. As you can see, they're slightly different, right? They're not like some kind of round brackets. Another common mistake is to have these lines very close one to each other like this. Well, this makes it very tight, right? So it doesn't look, it's too slim. The letter is too slim. We don't have enough space here like I showed you here. So again, make sure you start here and then touch the center, go up, then make this one longer, right? Make this one a little bit longer. This will actually help you understand how much space you need to create here. If this one is short, then probably you'll draw this line, this vertical line, very close to this one. But if you make this one long enough, then you will start here and then touch the center and go down like this. And another thing that you might see is having this first line too long, right? Like this. Okay, so definitely the first one should be shorter than the second vertical line. So it starts here and ends up here, then we go like this, and then we start the next line here at the upper level, right? Go down and continue with it until we reach a lower position. Okay, so this will make this line longer than this one. Next, let's write together again. It's important to feel relaxed, and you can continue to practice until you find the proper balance, until you're satisfied with the letter you wrote, right? So you can pause the video after I finish and continue a little bit more. So let's see. And now let's see the last letter in this tutorial. It's the letter Ko. I will write it first. Okay, so it's something like this. We have to start here, not very far from the vertical line. Let's say here somewhere, and we get on the right side a bit more until we reach the center, let's say, and then end up with a hook, because we have to think this is connected with the next line, which starts here somewhere, goes a bit down, and then it becomes like this, rather flat. Okay, so this one starts, let's say this is the center, well, the middle line here of this square, so you have to start here on the right side, but this one it's a bit longer, and it's good to imagine that you want to write a slightly curved line, but you try not to go down from the beginning. Try to think you're drawing almost an horizontal line here, and only here at the end, okay, when you end up with this kind of hook, right, you go a bit down the way. So this is connected with this one, and as let's see, this is the center here, so we will start from a lower position but which is aligned with this center, and think first you want to go down like this, and but then slightly go to the right side, and then this one, this part here, it's almost flat, okay, and end up here at a point not too far from this wall here. Okay, let's see once again. We start here and continue like this, and in again here, go down, and then right, and end up here. Okay, so as you can see, the most important thing maybe in this letter is to create this nice space here inside, right? Okay, something like this. And for that, first of all, we need to leave a little bit of space here, and here we will have maybe more than that, okay, but not too much. Okay, and as you can see, we have pretty much the same distance from like here to here and here to here. Okay, right. And it's important also to remember that if this is the center, right, so this is the vertical line that goes like this one starts slightly inwards, right, on the right side, and here, let's say if we have a center line, a middle line like this, you have to end up here somewhere on the left side of it and end up with this line here on the right side. Okay, so this makes this line slightly longer than this one. Make sure that you have a good amount of space here. As you can see, is maybe the same amount as this one or even bigger. Okay, again, we need to leave a little bit of space here on this side and a little bit of space here on this side. Now let's check a few common mistakes. Maybe something that you will see a lot is this kind of sign, like which looks like an horizontal parenthesis. Well, the letter is not completely symmetrical, so you have to think that this one is first of all almost horizontal, but then goes down a little bit like this, and then you have to start here at a higher position, go down, and then finally go right like this. Okay, so it's not like a mirror kind of thing, so they're slightly different. And one more thing, well, sometimes you will see many people drawing this line like this, and then this one like this. Again, this one, the first line is not up the way, it's actually down the way, like this, right? You might see these lines too long, right? Something like this, right? Sometimes, and again, it's similar with this case here. You have to think that this one starts here inside and ends up here with the hook, and the next one it's slightly longer than this one, so they don't have the same length and they're not that far one from each other. So for that you have to start here somewhere, go down, and then right, and continue a bit more until you make this one, okay, farther than this point here. Now let's write together a few times. Remember that you can pause the video and continue to write until you feel you got the proper balance of the letter and you're satisfied with it. So let's see.
Okay, so I hope you liked your practice, and today we covered the second line in the Hiragana alphabet, the letters ka, ki, ku, ke, ko. Remember to come from time to time to check these rules once again so you don't go in a wrong direction with your writing. Enjoy the practice time, this is very important. You can write anytime, anywhere, in your own pace. All you need is some math paper and something to write, like a pencil or a ballpoint pen or fountain pen. Remember again the most important two rules. Do not twist your wrist like this when you want to write a longer line. Always use the whole body to write it, right? So don't do this. Use all your body, right, to write longer lines. So don't twist your wrist. Use all your body.
In the next video we will cover the letters sa, shi, su, se, so stay tuned.